Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. Today we're going to be talking about Paragon, Honda, and White Plains going to $1 million, Ted, in parts sales and that journey on the way there. This is going to be a very exciting
That's
conversation.
$1 million a month. That's $1 million a month. Let's not get that confused.
And Brian, that is a huge increase. And give us a little bit about the backstory on this.
Yeah, so I was giving a presentation. At the presentation, I was talking about growth opportunities, and it was determined that one of the biggest e-commerce growth opportunities in the world was through online parts sales. And in fact, it was going to be one of the top three growth areas of all e-commerce departments. And his Jensay's CEO was in the audience, Ibrahim, and we asked ourselves the question after the presentation, what if that's true? And he said, you and I should get together. He invited me to go to an offsite to speak at the offsite. And I said, wait a second, wait, you own that company? I don't want to go to I'll go to your offsite, but talk to me how we grow our parts business. He goes, well, that's kind of easy. And he introduced me to Jensay, the sensei, who has magic. And we were, do we sell parts online? Of course. We had some growth, 10,000 a month, and it went to 30,000, and we were all excited. And Jensay said, I need you to think higher. So we set a pretty audacious goal to hit 500,000 a month in part sales by the end of the year. And needless to say, we've blown the socks off of that goal and that target.
And Brian, you're not just doing that here at Paragon Honda. You're doing it at the other locations. Tell us who we have.
Yeah, why wouldn't you spread that, right? Spread the news. Oh, we just want to keep it for Paragon. No, we're doing it all the stores, and we have a unicorn here in Patrick, right? And Jensay called him a unicorn. You sometimes you've got these people that are flying under the radar and they don't get recognized, and the opportunity to grow. And Jensay mixed a little fertilizer and some water and some magic dust, and Patrick has just taken his parts position to a new level of White Plains. Yeah, and in fact, what's really exciting is that they're keeping Paul over here on his toes. And that little White Plains Honda, the engine that could, is doing some pretty special numbers. So we're excited about that.
Well, Patrick and Paul, I want to get your perspective. Many dealerships have parts that are sitting on the shelf that could still create value. So how can e-commerce help dealers move inventory and create new revenue opportunities?
Well, I guess our country is now our customer now. It's not just our backyard. And we're getting hits from customers with 2014 Civics, 2007 Accords. And if you have it on the shelf, great.
Oh yeah, what's the data saying? We have the oldest fleet of cars on the road in the history of the United States of America, and those cars are gonna need parts. So Jensay said, hey, we know how to target them. And the craziest thing, we have a heat map that we created where we're selling the parts, and then it's like Sophia said, hey, take that heat map. You should put the theme to Jaws on the heat map, and all of a sudden you see the heat map expanding, dun, 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 dun. And you're able to really picture the where we've had growth. But the more important picture is the other 99.9% of the country that's still available as an opportunity. Talk about that, buddy.
Yeah, one of the things about most dealers in general sense is they position themselves to only think about the one department, which is typically the sales department. Not that I like sales department, it's okay. But one of the things I will say in the parts department, there's serious opportunity for a lot of reasons. And one of the main reasons is because dealers are not actually paying attention to that department. So the dealers that do, they actually advance over what's it.
Paul didn't know where the sales department was. We had to put Nabby in his car so he could find it. And the same with our guys going over to the parts department. But it turns out when you start talking to each other, you start realizing there's some real exciting opportunities there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Patrick, parts, exciting now. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What can other dealers learn and lessons from what you're doing here at Paragon with e-commerce?
I'd say that convenience is key. Being able to help people from Queens, New York to Boulder, Colorado to Honolulu, Hawaii is very exciting. And it's such a small gap right now.
And he gets it.
But,
He gets it. And that's really exciting. Our market's wherever we decide it needs to be. And I think he's not going to brag about it, but the goal is 500,000 in a year. We hit that goal of 500,000 part sales in 4 months, right? And so we reset the target, of course, and we reset that target at $1 million a month to get to $1 million a month by the end of the year. And the growth has been exponential, and it's really exciting to see what's out there.
Jensay, you help dealers at Revolution Parts do this type of thing. Okay, give us a little bit of insight, for how they can ensure their parts department is showing up at the right place at the right time in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, so there's a lot of platforms that create websites. There's a lot of platforms that say they can sell parts. But one of the unique things about Revolution Parts, I actually used it as a customer for 8 years before I actually worked at Revolution. And one of the biggest separating points is they have the ability to actually review the data, update the inventory, target customers throughout the country that actually are identifying that those are looking for those type of items. And they're kind of niche when it comes down to partnerships that they have with multiple different OEMs. And they're a unique opportunity in general senses. I've used other platforms.
So
to sell
what
it
we're
myself.
talking about is OPP, other people's platforms, and I think that's really one of the keys to the success.
In particular, eBay and Amazon.
Well, yeah, imagine that. You
Right.
imagine being able to use Amazon. They've got a little history there with online sales. But isn't it interesting? You go online and you type in parts, tires near me or brakes near me. Not a darn dealer, right? Who's there? All the independents. Who else is there? Amazon. So why not take a page out of their book?
Yeah.
We're coming for you, Jeff Bezos. We're coming for you.
And Brian, speaking of independents, I see here in Queens, you are surrounded by independents on the service side as well.
They're termites, man. They're everywhere, right? There's 17,000 people that can put an inspection sticker on a car in the 5 boroughs. 17,000. So is the competition the 5 other Honda dealers, or is it the 17,000 termites that are out there? And so all we want to do, we don't want to take a single customer from Hillside Honda or Plaza Honda. We just want to take that business back from the independents. That's ours, and we're taking it back.
Exciting things, Ted, here. And really, Brian, it's incredible to hear $1 million a month in part sales is a possibility for dealers.
That's the next target. That's not the end. Don't sip the glass. That's the next target. We want to be the parts distributor for Honda for the nation. We think that's a reasonable goal, and that's what we're going to do. Right here from little old Queens.
All right. Jensay, I'll give you the last word.
I think that all dealers should be thinking about, how do I position my parts department to not just be in my city, but around the country.
Non-Honda dealers. We don't want any.
I'm Ted Ings with Sarah Vantine. We're here in Queens, New York at Paragon Honda, Paragon Acura, and White Plains Honda with the leaders in parts and Jensay Numa, Jensay the sensei from Revolution Parts. All right. And we're going to be right back.